that's why I think there's so much power in giving time. And also, I think time is just a really valuable resource. It's oftentimes we think money is the most valuable thing, but actually that's not true. In fact, your time is the most valuable thing. And anyone who tells you otherwise is simply lying to you. Your time is the most valuable thing. And unfortunately, it's the one thing we take for granted the most. We think that we're going to have a lot of time. But the reality is that it can be taken away, at any moment, right? We don't know when our time is going to be up. We have to use every second, every heartbeat, every step we're given, every ounce of effort that we're allowed to exert to help those in need, to give them our attention, give them our love, give them our our thoughts, give them our, sincere devotion and dedication, and then let everything fall into place from there. But I do think that this model of just, never ending sending money and money, more aid, like just boxes and one-time consumables, it's just not sustainable. And, it ultimately creates a disconnect between us as humans. We should be connecting with each other. We should be learning from one another, teaching one another, transferring knowledge and wisdom to one another. But the way the system works now is that the recipient of the aid and the person who's essentially providing for them is, there's all these layers between them. You have different organizations and bureaucracies and laws and regulations, et cetera. But really, we're trying to break through that at New Shore. We're trying to say that this model is outdated. This model is, not effective. We need to do something different. We need to, empower people from like the ground up, and we need to give them the ability to provide for themselves. Otherwise, these situations are never, it's never going to end. And, the very systems that are causing them to be in the situations that they're in are are going to keep going, and then they're never going to get out of their situation. So we need to be thinking deeply about our time, how we're using it, where we're sending it, who we're supporting, who we're working for, what their intention is, and then ultimately what is our intention, and how can we use the 24 hours we're given in this every day, how can we use it to the best of our ability? Because like I said, it's the most valuable thing we have. And everyone will appreciate, anyone in the world who's really suffering will appreciate someone giving their time sincerely. So I would say that's those are just some thoughts. Yeah.
Who is the ideal New Shore candidate, and why should they join New Shore?
Yeah, I would say, someone who's self-driven, someone who has, a heart for humanity, someone who, who feels like, who feels that working a 9 to 5, or going into industry, or working just a corporate job is not enough. Someone who thinks that there has to be something, greater to all this, and that, we, we have who sees a higher purpose in their life. Because I think, that's what New Shore at least has given me. I feel it gives me a higher purpose. Every time I wake up in the morning, I feel motivated. I feel like it gives me a mission and something to work towards. Whereas I think working at these corporate jobs and industrial jobs, you just feel like a cog in a machine, and, it just feels heartless. So anyone who has a heart for humanity, I would say that's the biggest thing. We have guys who dropped out of school in 8th grade, and they're some of our best, most productive, researchers, because they have such a big heart, and they want to, they see the suffering happening all around the world, and they want to do something about it. And when you have that sincere intention, I think that can be the driver. And whether or not you have quantitative skills or more qualitative human skills, there's something for everyone here. And I do believe that humanity deserves, especially those who are in difficult conditions, they deserve the top quality. They deserve the best. We typically always think about giving our best effort for companies, or if we're going to get paid, or putting conditions. But I do believe that these people are really the ones who deserve the highest quality. They deserve our attention. They deserve our, you know, our sincere efforts and, uh, you know, um, research and development. And I think, frankly, I think a lot of the rich people, greedy people in this world don't deserve that. And I think people who think this way, I think would fit great at New Shore. And, um, you know, um, yeah, like it's not easy, but in my opinion, that's what we have to do.